Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast here to tell you about Michelob Ultra Courtside. It's getting fans closer to the NBA with a chance to win prizes like courtside seats, a trip to All-Star Weekend, and much more. Check it out at MichelobUltra.com/courtside. Michelob Ultra Superior Access, Courtside 24-25 Sweepstakes, no purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 21 and up. Begins on October 1st, 2024, ends July 1st, 2025. Multiple entry periods. Visit MichelobUltra.com/courtside for free entry deadlines, and official rules. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
Sid and Friends in the morning. 77 WABC.
Henley Classic Dirty Laundry, 7:17 on your Thursday morning. Off to a great start once again. Bill Spadia, Rich Larry last hour. My next guest is here every morning at this time. Why? Because he's great. Whether he's doing his own show, The Rip and Read, noon to 1 every weekday afternoon, or hosting all weekend long here, does his best work, in my opinion, with me every weekday, but he's terrific. He's the icon. He's the legend, Mr. Guardian Angel. And if God is good to us, fresh off the Trump win, he'll be the next mayor here in New York City. And also fresh off an amazing speech last night at Vicky Palladino's Whitestone Republican Club, the great Curtis Sliwa. Good morning, Curtis. How are you, pal?
Different tone for Curtis Sliwa today after 24 hours of burying the hatchet with a lot of people. You know, my number one nemesis of all time is sitting right behind us, Lou Ruffino, at the board operator.
Wait a second. He's not your number one nemesis of all time.
Breaking news.
Breaking news, WABC.
Lou Ruffino, for the first time in 17 years the other morning, said, "Good morning, Curtis." Good morning, Curtis. He had never said that.
Yeah.
From the time in April of 2007, when all of a sudden there was no more WFAN to the time he came to WABC. And I have joined George V. in trying to get him into the Vince Scully Hall of Fame there at Fordham University because of all the time he spent at beefsteak choppers.
That's right.
So you see, that's number one.
George V. Last night, unprovoked, talked about how much he loves Lou Ruffino and the back and forth between me and Lou every morning. So you and George V have that in common. Listen, don't confuse the issue. He may have said good morning to you, but he doesn't like you. I mean, he tolerates you. He deals with you. But
well, if I get him the Vince Scully Award, will he like me?
I don't know.
Well, anyway.
Well, let me ask him. Lou, will you like Curtis?
I love Curtis.
Oh, sorry.
So that's the first thing.
I stand corrected.
Okay. I said good morning to him the first time. He has got this all incorrect.
No, you know what? He's got it backwards. You've always liked him. He was the one with the heart on because he thought you and I mistook his job.
He did.
Well, we did.
Oh, come on. It wasn't Lou's choice.
It wasn't, but he didn't know me when I walked in. I said good morning, and he went, "Oh, welcome. How are you doing? That's good luck." And then after we took his job, he never talked to me again for 2 years.
I never forget.
2
I
years
never
there.
forget.
And
Never.
I said good morning to him the first time, and then I stopped. And then I said it the other morning, and he almost fell on the floor.
He likes you. He likes you. Everybody likes you, though.
That's
number one.
He
Okay.
definitely likes me, and I love him.
There you go.
Next week, I'll be sitting with Mike Rendino of the Bronx about getting his sister reelected, Christine Mamorato.
And I remember very vividly on this show, nasty. What was the name of that lady that ran? No, fine. So she came in, she said all these horrible things, and you agreed with her. And then Mike Rendino, this guy, I'm going to a Yankee game this year. He invites me, Danielle, Ava, and Gabriel to the bar there. He wants to buy us dinner. Couldn't have been nicer. I've seen him at 2 or 3 events. Couldn't have been nicer. So it took you longer than me, because I didn't know him very well, to find out that Mike Rendino's a good guy.
Well, look. His sister's doing a very good job. You know I'm always up in the Bronx, so I know.
And you actually did admit that.
Yes. Yesterday, I sat with Danielle's best friend, Maud Moran.
Well, I'm not sure they're best friends, but in all seriousness, they really did work together at Legal Aid many years ago. And Danielle was so excited when she found out that she was running against Alvin Bragg. She reached out and she said, maybe we're going to my husband's show, blah, blah, blah. Well, this lady's a terrific lady.
It was because of Danielle's recommendation right here when you did your fundraiser for dyspraxia that I said, let me reach out, talk with her and her campaign manager, Chapin Fay. Wonderful meeting yesterday.
Oh, Chapin Fay's her campaign manager?
Yes. And then yesterday...
Well, before you move on from that, what were your impressions of her? Had you met her before?
No.
Okay.
No, I had heard of her. I was very impressed. Very impressed. And then last night, you saw it, Joanne Areola. Basically, they came up and they said, Floyd Benefield is closed. Let this be done. We were there to honor Vicky Palladino for the great work that they did. Scott Pressler, who I sat next to with the long hair. This guy was great. I mean, he even said, I milked a cow for Trump with the Amish. And then he delineated all the things he did. It was such a wonderful night. You recognize Robert Holden as a great Democrat, something you never do. You couldn't have felt better. I gave a fire and brimstone speech. I said, Eric Adams,
your speech was the best of the night.
You want to rock that MAGA hat? Come on in, primary me. Let's get it on. But I'm at work for you. When we were here earlier for Suzanne Miller's extravaganza, and it was an extravaganza, and now I figured out why they didn't have my cardboard cutout out.
Oh, you did?
Suzanne Miller, they have her in red.
Yeah.
They have Rita Cosby in red.
Yeah.
You never conflict with a woman's dress. I figured that out.
That's what it is.
And they both winked at me and said, of course.
The ladies in red.
The ladies in red. And well, what a wonderful crowd. And then you and I, we heard that de Blasio was in the house. I've gotten into so much trouble of late with Margot. I decided, here's Dan Herschel with the duct tape. He's ready to put duct tape on my mouth. Let's go to Vicky's now. Everything is good. Everyone is happy. Suzanne has had a great event. Her family is happy. John and Margot and Chad are happy. Because I could have spoiled it, right? We got out of here.
You wouldn't have done that. I know that there was the fear.
You know how much I hate de Blasio.
I know. Hey, Lebedo did it at the gala, which was magnificent. There were also rumors. These are just rumors that while de Blasio did come upstairs while you and I were leaving, that the current mayor, Adams, was downstairs.
Oh, God.
But was communicating with somebody upstairs and didn't want to come upstairs until you and I left.
Well, that's why it was important for you and me to leave at that point. It was really a night for Suzanne Miller, all of her friends, all of her business associates, and, of course, John and Margot and Chad. Now, then, and this is the most important thing.
Well, let me just give those four names again. So, Lou Ruffino.
Yes.
Mike Rendino.
Yes, because of his sister, Christy Mamarato, doing a good job as councilwoman.
Joanne Areola.
And her chief of staff. And the most important, because we got to take out Brad, Maud with Chapin Fay. And if you saw last night when Tom Caniff was introduced.
Yeah.
He got a standing ovation. They were saying, run, Tom, run for DA again against Bragg. But, look, the Republicans burnt his bridge so bad the last time. He's not even considering right.
No, he was on the show with me. He talked about it, how they finally, Nick Langworthy, I believe, was in charge back then. Now he's won an office seat in Buffalo. But they finally offered him an insulting, paltry $1,000. He never got the check. So we're at this big Whitestone event last night. Curtis, I'm going to say this again. You were the best. You had the best speech.
Thank you.
You mentioned Tom Caniff. I followed you. I mentioned Tom Caniff. Scott Pressler mentioned Tom Caniff. Vicky Palladino mentioned Tom Caniff. Everybody there was honoring Tom, who sat right next to me at that dinner table last night. And he and I talked quite a bit about running for office. And I can tell you this. It ain't happening.
They burnt his bridge. But at least the people recognize he would have made a great DA. Then, while we were here, I lobbied on your behalf, Sid, because last night's speech at Leonard's, where more Jewish weddings have occurred than in any other catering hall in America, maybe even in Israel, right there on Northern Boulevard, you started to talk about how you're ready in 2028 to take on the schmuck, the putz, Chuck E. Cheese Schumer.
Well,
And in order to build that profile for you and resume, so you're not just known as the king of profanity by the New York Times, and obviously the number one talk show host in the mornings, coast to coast. They call you the shock jock now. You've inherited that.
You see when I walk into these places, Curtis, I mean, I know you get a lot of attention, but do you see how these people go crazy?
Oh, my God, they were glomming all over.
I mean, I must have taken 1,000 pictures last night.
They had like Velcro on them. They wouldn't leave you alone. And then they all came up to me. He's running against the schmuck Chuck E. Cheese Schumer. I said, yes. He will. It's in 2028. We got to start building the momentum. I sat with my very dear friend Simon Bergson of the Manhattan Beer Distributors.
Oh, I met him last night. What a terrific guy.
He went to Lincoln High School, used to be on the board of directors of the Guardian Angels.
And also, I didn't know this, he was on your board, but according to Chad Lopez, and then I met Simon afterwards, he actually sponsored my second trip to Israel.
Yes, and he's with the Museum of Jewish Heritage, the Holocaust Museum down in Battery Park. And I'm going for the Daily Double. I'm going to get you on that board because you are King David II locally, the Holocaust Museum Board through Simon Bergson, and United States Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C. There is no better person defending Jews and reminding Jews of their heritage. Here's Simon Bergson's personal cell phone number. I did the shidduch. Let's make this happen.
Oh, this is great. Simon Bergson, Manhattan Beer Distributors. Just so you know, on the federal level, two of our dear friends, Curtis, Andrew Giuliani, Anthony D'Esposito, they're there. I've got people like Siggy Flicker and Liz Pipko working for me for that. And then here locally, if I got you working on Simon, I'm going to be on two Holocaust boards.
This is important. We got to take out the schmuck to putz, Chuck E. Cheese Schumer, who's so busy writing his book on anti-Semitism and wearing his Palestinian garb. And then lastly, the Curtis Sliwa remedy to the drones. Forget all these politicians. Forget the lies that are coming out of the Pentagon and Homeland Security. I'm calling on all American patriots. Don't kill any more bear. Don't kill any more deer. You got your double-barreled shotguns. Load them up. And let's aim at those drones and shoot the hell out of them, whether they're from Red China, whether they're from Iran. Yeah. How impotent are we that half in the bag Murphy, the governor of New Jersey, and they asked me, why you call him half in the bag? Because up until 5 o'clock happy hour, he's shaking all day, but he hasn't had a drink. Afterwards, he's knocking back the scotch, no ice cubes, no water, because he says drought restrictions. And I mean, the guy has Jake Lake rum ruse. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. So don't wait for the elected official. Take that shotgun in the air like you just don't care. Fire it again. Shoot them all down, Patriots in New Jersey. Shoot them down. And we'll find out whose drones these are. And remember, 2028, King David II must take down the schmuck, the putz, Chuck E. Cheese Schumer. They all were screaming for that last night in Leonard's, where more Jews have been married. I don't know how many ended up in divorce court, but more Jews have been married. Probably had Jewish divorce attorneys. We are going to make you not only King David II, but the next U.S. Senator to take out the fake, phony, fraudulent, fugazi Jew who is more akin to the Palestinians than he is his own peeps. That's not the putz, Chuck E. Cheese Schumer, Sid Rosenberg for U.S. Senate 2028. The campaign is underway.